Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Tiana the Miracle Talks. Today, we'll be talking about dealing with daddy issues and how to overcome those issues and the roads and avenues that it can take you down. Some of you may know I was on YouTube on this channel about 4 years ago, and the last video I posted 4 years ago was when I was in the hospital for a suicide attempt. Um, I had to, it was some things that I had to go through, um, to get to the place where I am now. Within that time, um, I became an author, um, and I co-authored in several books, one of them being The Mantle I Never Asked For. In The Mantle I Never Asked For, I spoke about dealing with daddy issues, being a fatherless daughter. What that book looks like is this book right here. It is available on Amazon. It's also available through Fiery Beacon Publishing House, which is the publisher for this book. And this is what it looks like, the physical copy. I'm right here. Um, it's a wonderful book, um, with different uh, the different co-authors. If you can go on Amazon and get the book, that would be great. Um, I'm telling you, it's an awesome, awesome, awesome book. Just to share some of the chapter titles with you all, you have The Mantle is Who I Am, The Travel Word, Designer Survivor, my chapter, which is chapter 4, I never asked to be a fatherless daughter. Who asked for that? The purpose for this platform, the mental worth embracing, $1 million flaws, passion fueling purpose, the mystery behind the mantle, and the living mantle. And so, in here, I went into talking about being a fatherless daughter. So this is what my chapter looks like. If you get the book, read the whole entire book. I would advise that. Today, I'll also have a guest with me who've experienced similar, if not, the same issues as I have. I will bring her up in a minute. So let's start with the definition of what a mantle is. So a mantle is a loose or sleeveless cloak or shawl worn by women, or is an importance. Here we're going to use it as an important role or responsibility that passes from one person to another. So in the book, I spoke about being a fatherless daughter. A mantle is something that is passed to you, right? It's something that you don't ask for. It's something you just get. And nobody asks to be a fatherless daughter. But before I go into depth of what I mean by that, know that for the first, um, I don't know how old you are in the sixth grade, but up until then, I did not really know or could tell you who my father was. So he was not there for that t- point in my life, right? Okay, so when he came back into my life, I was going into the sixth grade. And although he was there physically, he wasn't there emotionally, he wasn't there in other ways. So I still felt fatherless with inside me. So I'm going to have my guest join me, Aria, as we go into details. And, we just want to help any other women, any other young girl who may be experiencing the same things that we have, and let you know that you're not alone. There's other people who have went through this, who have healed from this, who has overcame dealing with daddy issues, and is an issue that if you don't get a hold to, can make you go down certain avenues and make certain choices in life that is not conducive to um, a it's not conducive to a positive life. So without further ado, I'm going to add Aria. Hey, girl.
Hey.
Okay, so I was just telling them about, how I got to write the mantle, right in the book. So I'm going to go and I'm going to start off with talking about um, what I wrote. I'm not going to read my chapter in full detail. You all can go and purchase the book to get details, but I will touch on key points of what I wrote, and I will read some of it. So I'm going to read the first page. So the title is I Never Asked to Be a Fatherless Daughter. Often one says, God, why me? We know that we're not supposed to question him, but realistically we do. There were many days I sat back and said to myself, why me, God? Why do I have to endure this? I didn't ask for my life to be like this. Growing up, I never realized the strength I would need to endure. As a young child, there were things that I had to go through that could only be accomplished through God's strength. Everyone sit back and looks at your smile on your face, not knowing the pain behind it. I was a child with an absentee father, and that was an unimaginable pain. Watching everyone else with their father only to sit and wonder what could possibly be wrong with you was the thought that constantly flooded my mind. One begins to question who they are and why they cannot have one. The questions echo. What did I do wrong? Why am I not good enough? A lot of questions begin to go through your head. I'm sure many people can relate to this. The day comes when you think you have a chance to live your childhood dream because you meet him only to be let down in the worst possible way. And that hurt becomes even worse. The questions you ask yourself becomes even more real. Going through feeling unwanted because you were born can begin to lead you down avenues and to make worse decisions in life. Depression becomes a cloak that you wear to hide the pain that seems no one has the capacity to understand. As a young child, we are taught to be quiet and not to share the things we have experienced. That could be seen or viewed as embarrassment. And in a way, we are taught not to care or give any attention to a problem in a sense. I would go through so many things and could never understand why I had to be the strong person. Why am I always going above and beyond? Why am I the one who must endure situations where I had to be strong? I never had the opportunity to take the time to sit in my weakness. And though there were times when I just wanted to sit back and just be weak, I couldn't. So I began to put on a fake smile and move on. When I think back to different situations, I really had to be strong, and I couldn't understand why. I remember sitting in church one day, and the pastor said to me, "You are mean." At that point, it hit different because I had heard this before from many people that used to call me mean because I was very blunt. I walked around as if I only cared about myself. But no one can ever take the time to really ask, what's going on? Why do you act like this? Was never a question anyone asked me. But truthfully, I felt as if I had to grow up a lot faster than most. As soon as I turned 18, I ran from what I thought was the cause of everything, when really I was walking into places that would force me to endure a lot more than I had bargained for. There were many days I sat back and said, people always call me with their issues, but no one ever calls me to ask me, am I all right? Every time someone was in a situation, I was the one who became the one to come to rescue. I'm gonna read one more paragraph and then I'm gonna go into more detail. It is hard to be the strong one because you never have an outlet, so to speak. Everyone around you depends on you and leaves others to thinking that they never need help or a shoulder to cry on. There are plenty of times that I would just cry myself to sleep because I had no one to talk to or call to just vent and pray with. I always had a group of people, but it was the people who always needed something from me, but did not have the capacity to pour into me. Being strong can be a blessing, though, because it is not something most can handle or endure. A badge of honor, so to speak. Okay, so I'm going to stop there with what I wrote in the book. And so I'm going to begin to tell you some of the things that how it started and how we got where we are now, how I overcame it. So, like I was saying before, in when I was going to the sixth grade, so when I was growing up, excuse me, I grew up with my grandparents and my mother. Um, he wasn't in the picture, and it was just like one day it was just, here's your father. Now we're moving. I'm from New York originally, if you don't know. Um, it was like one day where I'm at, and I'm living at, and that's where I was born and raised. And now is you're moving to Brooklyn. So I was snatched out of what I knew to be stability, what I knew to be love, what I knew to be um, grounded. And I was set in an environment that I didn't know or that I didn't understand. Um, so once it was a forceful thing because I didn't know him. I didn't know him to say I love you. I didn't know him to say, oh daddy. It wasn't that type of relationship. So it started um making me feel a way, and that's where the acting out began, because not only was I introduced to him, I was introduced to a whole new lifestyle and environment. Anybody who know Brooklyn, know Brownsville, know the streets, you can just imagine what I was introduced to in the environment that I was put in prior to that. This was my first year of public school. Prior to that, I had been in private school, um, Christian and Catholic private school. So I was introduced, it was introduced a lot because this is my first year in public school. So I was introduced to people being in gangs, people doing this, that, and the third. Um, so it was a new environment for me. Um, I would stay there in Brooklyn a few years. Um, at the time that I was in that environment, there was a young guy who lived across the hall who was a few years older than me. And in my younger self, because I had those issues and because of everything that was going on, that's when I would begin to form a bond with him and to create, to start having sex at an early age. I don't advise no one to do that, but that was what happened. And that's just my truth. Okay. Um, and so after that, I stayed there a few years where I relocated to North Carolina. Um, and it would get worse. Things got worse. We we never formed a bond, so there was never a bond there. In my mind at the time, it was forced on me. In my mind at that time, I felt like, who are you? Who are you to come in my life and to disrupt what I had going on over here? You disrupted my peace. You disrupted what I knew to be stability. Um, and so it was anger there as a teenager. And so I began to lash out in at the time what I thought was the right way, but as an adult, I can admit was the wrong way. So I began to lash out in a way where I would fight him like he was somebody on the street. Okay, I mean, really going blows. Okay, and so though that was wrong, though that wasn't um, the ideal way to react to it, as a child, you think as a child, and you don't really understand the emotions and uh, the mindset that you're in. As a child, you don't understand what you're going through. You don't understand how to get through it, and how to overcome or even explain what you're feeling. And I will talk more in depth with that a little later on in the conversation. Also, um, Arda, can you relate to any of uh, what I went through briefly?
I well, everything was good. My daddy issues started when I want to say I was like 5 or 6 years old. And like in my eyes, he could never do any wrong. Like I was a young child, gullible and naive, so never thought he would do anything wrong. But one day he had said, "Well, I'm coming to get you guys, and we're gonna spend the weekend." I'm like, "Okay." I was excited. My mom had packed our clothes, did our hair, had us ready, everything. So that Friday came, and I was sitting outside. I was riding my bike. I was doing everything, everything, just being a kid. And all of a sudden, he never showed up. Then we ended up going to go get something to eat because me and my sister, well, mainly me, I was upset. I was sad at the fact that I didn't get to go with him. So we ended up driving to get something to eat, and we actually pulled up beside him, and we were sitting there waving. We was like, "Daddy, Daddy, we're here. Look at us," basically. And he looked at us, turned his head, and drove off really fast. Like, as soon as the light turned green, he took off. And that is when I started, you know, being disappointed in him because I thought it was my fault. You know, as a kid, you think everything is your fault.
Right,
So I thought it was my fault. I was like, what did I do wrong? And my mom was like, nothing, nothing, nothing. You didn't do anything wrong. This, and that, and the third. And as years progressed, like, it just gotten worse from then on out. Because not even after that, like a few months later, um, my mom was married at the time. So we go to my grandmother's house, and it was me and my sister, my mom, and everybody was over there. I don't even know what was going on, but we went over there or whatnot. And my uncle, which at the time was like maybe 13, 14 years old, um, he knew I liked to play video games. He would be like, Now you want to come back here and play video games with me. So, me being gullible and being a kid, I didn't think none of it. I thought we were actually going to go play video games, but we actually didn't. That was my first time I actually experienced. Well, I'm not gonna even say first time, but actually me knowing what was going on was awful. When I actually had the common sense. Um, I'm not gonna go into detail about what happened, but it happened, and like after that, it was like, what the crap just happened? I knew it was bad, but I didn't know what it was. Kept it a secret. I kept it hid. I kept it confined in my little box. Then, um, around that time, I was secluded. I secluded myself from everybody. I basically stayed to myself. I didn't want to play with my sister. I didn't want to play with nobody. Didn't want to talk to nobody. At that point, I was just confused as to what happened. So after that, I want to say like a few years later after that, I was maybe 8, 9. I'd say about 9. My parents got divorced, which broke my heart because I'm like, dang, another one gone. But it wasn't, at first, I thought it was my fault, you know? And at that point, I was like, why? Why are you leaving? This, that, and the third. They never talked about it, never wanted to talk about it. And after that, she, I want to say about a year or so later, she meets another guy. And a year or so later, she gets married. And this is where it went to heck then. 14 years old, being innocent, wasn't even thinking about boys, none of that. But he was from a little hick town. Um, he, small town people, everybody knows everybody related to everybody, is that type of thing. So I would say literally one red light town was that little. So um, I meet this guy. At the time I was 14, he was 20. And we were sneaking, texting, talking on the phone and stuff. And then my mom caught me. So when she found out he was 20 years old, I got a beating of a lifetime. She was like, why would you do that? This and that and the third. At the time, I was happy because somebody was giving me some sort of attention. And at the time, I thought, hey, any boy or any man giving me attention, I'm going to take it. Because I was like, this is what I want to, this at the time I thought I was grown or whatever. So I was like, well, okay, got in trouble for that. But I never did anything with him, never had sex with him, nothing. We just talked on the phone. My mama took it to the extreme. And like a couple of months after that, I turned 15 and she takes me to the health department. And at the time, um, during the time I was talking to the 20-year-old, my stepfather was molesting me at the same time. So that was my way of lashing out, trying to get my attention off of what was happening at home, you know, from reality. Like, anyway. So he ended up doing that for like 2 years. And one night, my mom, he would always wait until she took her Ambien. Because when she took her Ambien, she was on. Like, she was out of it. Um, One night, I woke her up anyway. I got tired of it. Um, at that point, I felt like enough was enough. You have a whole wife in the next room, and you coming in here and you doing what you doing to me with my baby sister right beside me. It was like to the point where I was taking her to work with me. And my mom was getting on to me like, why isn't she at home? She's supposed to be doing this and this and this after she do her homework. And I wouldn't answer because at that time she didn't want to hear what I had to say. Because when I had confronted her about it, she thought that I was having a nightmare or something because she confessed to me that when I was 2 years old, um, I was molested by my father's best friend. I was like two, um, still in diapers. And she went into detail about what happened, but she don't know what he used to do it. And it was to the point where everything in my area was closed. I had to have that open, reopen, and everything. It was that bad because I had that much scar tissue. And she thought that I was having a reaction to that. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm 16 years old. That happened. I was two. So I don't think I would have a memory of that. And she didn't believe me. She was like, just go back to bed and I'll figure something out in the morning. I'm sitting here like, no, this man needs to go to jail. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Right.
because she always told me growing up, she was like, if anybody do anything to you, it's over with for them on site, blah, blah, blah. And I was looking for that reaction because at the time, not only he was a father and a brother and a son, he was also a pastor of a church, a man of the cloth in the pulpit telling us what not to do in the eyes of the Lord. But you doing that behind closed doors. So I started failing in school. I started lashing out. Me and my mom never got along because I secretly hated her. And one particular night, I planned on making him disappear. And I didn't do it. Um, Something like literally held me back from doing it because I was like literally going to do it. So after I told my mom or whatever, he had stopped, but still, that image was still in my mind. I couldn't get over it. Like, I was sitting here planning every step of the way, like, you know, what am I going to do next? Okay, I'm about to turn, 16 soon. I'm about to turn 17 soon. I'm about to turn 18. After I graduated, it was over with. I packed my stuff and I moved to Gadsden with my grandmother, and I was at peace. But at the same time, I was worried about my baby sister, which, he never tried anything with her because she was the type that'll punch you on sight if you even say or anything or look at her wrong. Like, she is quicker to pop off than I am. But as, years went by, with me not being able to cope with everything that happened, not, talking to anybody what happened because every time I try to talk to somebody, they be like, oh, he wouldn't do that. He's a preacher. Why would he do that? Stuff like that. And I'm sitting here like, oh my God, like nobody in my village believed me, except for my grandmother. She was like, oh, this isn't gonna happen, this and that. Her and my mom would get into it. I got in trouble for telling it because in my household, it was like what's done in my house stays in my house. You can't talk about it. You can't even think about it around other people. None of that. Like, and I'm sitting here like, why am I getting in trouble for telling the truth about what really goes on? And this man is supposed to be a man of God. Like, at that point in my life, fell in school. I almost didn't graduate and everything. And it was like, I just hated everybody. And, as I grew older, even in my 20s, I was still holding that pain and I was still lashing out at people. And my relationships with my sister was bad. My relationships with my friends were bad. My relationship with my mom was bad because, like I said, I still secretly hated her. And even in my 30s, like my early 30s, after, I want to say, after my father passed away or whatnot, I was 30 years old.
And it's
Um,
your biological father?
no, the guy who raised me. My biological father's still living. Actually, I'm gonna get into that in a minute, but we finally had a breakthrough. Somewhat maybe. Um, he after my mom and him divorced or whatever, he ended up marrying again, and the same thing happened with her daughter supposedly. So it was like a reoccurring thing, and he was wanting me to talk to him about it. And I told my mom, I'm like, at the time, I'm like, that happened 15 years ago. Why am I going to sit here and bring up something that was not legally documented? There's no records of it or nothing. Like, why would I even want to even take it that far and talking about it? I was like, it's a done deal. And I told her, I was like, what's done is done. Can't go back, can't change it, can't do none of that. Like, because at that point, I'm like, it's no need for me to secretly hate you anymore. And she looked at me like, secretly hate me? And I was like, yeah, I despised you with every bone in my body because you were supposed to have my back and you didn't. Like, I came from you. And, it was like a generational curse thing because same thing happened to her. And the same thing happened to my grandmother.
Oh,
So it was like, when I started having kids, especially when I had my first daughter, generational curse broken. Like, I pay attention to my children. I make sure their mental state is fine. I have a child. He's 12. He has ADHD. He's in therapy because anything can trigger him off, with his disability. My daughter got her tested. She's fine. My 5 year old, she's fine. I want to make sure, I want to take the precaution into making sure they're fine mentally because I want them to tell me everything. I don't even care. I don't care. I don't care what it is. I want them to have that relationship with me like I never had with my mom, and my mom never had with her mom. So it's like, again, a generational thing. So yeah, I carry that with me because not only did my mom raise me in her pain, she was raised in my grandmother's pain. So it was like, ugh, someone's gonna have to give. So I'm now in therapy. Like, my first session was today. Um, Everything would went fine. Like, I want to take that initial step because I don't want to raise my kids in my pain and have them carry that with them and so forth and so forth. I want them to be okay, you know. So I think my overcome of everything is how I am now. I'm stronger, I'm wiser, I'm better, not only as a mom, but as a woman. Like, I have better respect for myself. I have better respect for others. It takes it's a work in progress because trust me, it's not easy going from I'm gonna kick your tail to cool, calm, and collected. So
that's true.
I
That's
mean,
true.
it took a minute. I mean, it took a good little minute because carrying that on you is so heavy, and you don't want to put that heaviness on somebody else, let alone yourself, because that takes so much energy trying to move it to one person to the next and still having everything on you. So, like, young or old, it don't matter. Like, you can overcome anything because with prayer and strength, you make it.
And you will.
Oh
And you
yeah.
will.
Whew. But other than that, like, everything's good. Um, a lot better. I'm happier. I wish I could say that about my job, but I'm working on that too, honey. Cause going to school full time and working full time is a struggle, but I like the challenge. So
That's good.
yeah.
That's good. So I'm gonna go back to um, just to help other people who may be currently in that situation, currently experience that, or younger girls, and how they can try to avoid or what to do in those situations.
Oh yeah.
Um, how did you feel? Because our parents are supposed to protect us.
Right.
How does it make? How did it make you feel to have not been protected or felt protected?
Mm, it felt like I was at the bottom of the totem pole. I felt like I was just a piece of gum on the street. Just
Kids calling.
yeah.
So while she is going to take care of her children, I'm gonna go back into my story until she gets back. So where did I leave
Okay, I'm
off?
back.
You back? Okay,
My boyfriend handled it.
okay, okay. So um, where did we leave off?
um, how did it make me feel? It made me feel like I wasn't wanted at the time. It made me feel like I wasn't even loved. I felt like I was being punished for something. And I'm sitting here like, what did I do? I'm just a kid. Like, I wasn't even thinking about nothing. Like, just being a kid. But I felt like I wasn't wanted. I felt like I was a motherless child at the time because she cared more about image, seems like to me, than, actually helping me and making sure, I got help and all this kind of stuff. Kicked him to the curb, something,
Right.
something.
And I know for me, that went on for me as far as invalidating my feelings.
Mm,
Because actually 4 years ago was not my first attempt. I attempted in high school, and I was made to feel like, oh, you're just doing this for attention. But to me, as an adult, okay, if you think that I'm doing this for attention, what attention as a teenager am I seeking?
exactly.
That's not being provided for me to feel this way. And
Yep.
I think that goes unnoticed
Hmm.
um, in our community.
Yep.
And I think that that's why a lot of children don't feel comfortable coming to their parents with issues because they're made to feel invalidated.
Hmm.
And so I would say, though I'm not a parent, um, I would say that that's something that needs to be paid attention to.
Yeah.
What do you as a parent think?
Yeah. I mean, because if you don't pay attention to the signs, you never know when it's going to be too late, to be honest. Because a lot of things can go unnoticed and it could be in plain sight. It can be screaming in your face. And to me, it's a cry for help. Like I was literally crying for help in plain sight, but nobody paid attention. Nobody.
Yeah, that could be devastating. And though I didn't have those experiences that you did, I did experience that later on as an adult.
Hmm.
And that's because I had began to in my mind. I was just existing in this world.
Hmm.
Um, I was not actually living. I was existing. And so, because I was going through so much and I wasn't actually dealing with those issues properly, I put myself in vulnerable situations that that happened as an
Right.
adult.
Right.
So, being sexually assaulted as an adult, I couldn't call my daddy and say, "Oh, this guy did this to me,"
Hmm.
because at that time we wasn't even speaking. At that time, um, was the first time I let him move into my home because at the time he was homeless, and it was a slap in the face. So it was a lot going on at that time. At that time, I was in the middle of separation and getting a divorce. It was just a lot going on, and so I put myself in this. I don't care. I'ma do men how I've been done all my life,
Facts.
and and so
Same.
doing that put me in the wrong situation at the
Yeah.
wrong time, trusting that somebody was a quote unquote friend and they wasn't, and this person was married.
Yeah.
Okay, and so not married to me, married to someone else,
Right.
and so yeah, and so sometimes, oftentimes, when you deal with daddy issues, mom issues, um, and you don't properly take care of them, or you don't even recognize that you have those issues, because truth be told, I didn't know I had those issues until an adult, until going to counseling,
Yeah.
until seeking help.
Right.
You don't really begin to process and know, look, you have some daddy issues you need to deal with, because you start taking this relationship, looking for this man, looking for love over here, over there, doing this, drinking, smoke.
Hmm.
I mean, just all types of things. So,
Yep.
you know, what is one thing you would tell someone who experienced the thing that you experienced personally? Okay, it looks like her signal may have went out. But okay, she's back.
Crazy. But what I would tell a young female or an older female that's still going through it, um, I would tell them, you know, if you don't have anybody to talk to, you can talk to me. I will help you seek help. I mean, I will pray for you. I would even, be an open book. Have my arms wide open because I know what you're going through. I know how it feels. And it's something that is hard to shake. But once you put your mind to, yeah, I'm gonna overcome this part of it. I'm gonna overcome that part of it. But the one thing that you can start off with first is forgiveness. You have to forgive them and you have to forgive yourself, because you can even be mad at yourself for existing in the world, or you can be mad at yourself because you didn't take that one little step that could have got you out that situation, or whatever the case may be. It starts with that. And once you can get over that, you can get over the other obstacles that went your way, like the trust part. You can get over that. Because me personally, I'm just now getting to that point, and I'm 34, about to be 35 in a few months, couple of months. So it's like, if I can take the initial step to do it, anybody can. It may take a while. It may not be tomorrow. It may not be next week. But just one step at a time, you make it through. Just don't do all of it at once because it'll drive you crazy. You'll feel overwhelmed. But no, just take your time. It's a process. Trust me, it's a process. But
Yeah, I agree because it took me so my last year on here was 2017. We're now at 2022. Um, and this book was written and published in 2020.
mm-hmm,
So for 3 years was a process of healing, and there's still some other things that I need to overcome. But it took 3 years for me to process a lot, to heal, because it doesn't take. It's not an overnight thing.
right,
It's not something you just wake up and say, "Oh, I'm healed from this."
right,
Um, even up until I'm even up until when I was writing this, um, I still realized there was a little hurt there, but there
mm,
was healing in the writing.
right,
After I finished my initial edit and submitted it to the publisher, um, I took it upon myself. And at that point, the relationship that my father and I had was still not good.
yeah,
Um, it was still rocky. It was still I can't stand you. You was in and out of my life. You was forced. It felt like a forceful relationship, but you still wasn't there. You was
yeah,
there physically, like I would see you, but
mm-hmm,
you wasn't really there. You wasn't there for me emotionally. You wasn't there for me, period. And then on top of that, you going through personal issues that you have never dealt with, and then you have this narcissistic behavior
mm,
about you, and then you come in and then you add drugs on top of that. So then you have um your daddy is the crackhead.
yeah,
Embarrassing, embarrassing. But that's stuff that you have to you 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 just have to deal with, right? Because it's the mantle that was passed to you and that you never asked for. So even
exactly.
up until then, and even when I was in the hospital, he was staying with me at that time. When that last video went out and I was laying in the hospital
Mm,
after the last attempt, um, he stated to me when I needed him the most. Um, it was just he didn't he it was just that I don't care. And in that moment, that's what really made me decide, look, I can't keep going through this cycle. I can't.
mm-hmm,
It's something somewhere that has me feeling like this, and I don't want to feel like this anymore. So then
mm-hmm,
I had to go on a healing journey. And it
right,
was a journey because it wasn't something that happened overnight. Fast forward to 2020 when we're now in a pandemic, and I become an author. And even up until when I wrote the book, I messaged him on Facebook, and I just said, I'm going to tell him exactly what he's done to me, how he's made me feel, and how I feel about it. And that right there allowed me to have the peace. Um, when I wrote this and then wrote the message, it allowed me to have a sense of peace because I felt like a weight was lifted off of me.
right,
Not only did I express myself in this book, but also I expressed my feelings to him. And whether he took accountability or not at that time, um, I would still be at peace with the situation.
right,
Um, but his response was him not taking accountability. His response was to, oh, it's this person, it's that person, it's this person, it's that person, and this the reason why this and this and this and this and that. Also, just to throw this in there, his parents, um, there was this hatred for me just because I was born.
Oh wow.
Um, I never did anything to them. How could I? I was a child. Never, never nothing. And I promise you, if you was to ask them, oh, well, when it's her birthday or when it's it, they probably don't even know. They probably couldn't tell you too much about me
I feel
at
you.
all. And he made, he tried to invalidate me, my feelings, but validate theirs and saying, well, they're older, so they get to feel like that. No, they don't.
Mm-mm.
You don't get to treat a child um, with hatred in your heart just because they was born.
Right. You didn't ask
I
to be
don't
here.
care who did something to you. I don't care what. You do not inflict your issues onto a child in such a
Right.
hatred way um, because of whatever
Mm-hmm.
the reason may be. It's not valid.
Yep.
And so I expressed those, and he validated theirs and validated my feelings. Okay. And so um, at the time, there was no accountability taken. And still to this day, some accountability hasn't been taken, and I'm okay with it. Um, but um, we have talked since then. I did find out some information that I wasn't aware of, which I won't share because it's not my story to share.
Right.
Um, uh, he has a platform, so if he wishes to share that, then he will share it on his platform. Um, some of you may have came from his platform and know that I was over there briefly. Um, and we had after me writing is when he started his own YouTube page um, and started to be on YouTube. He and I did a video together when he first started, talking about some of the, well, really his side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to me, my side of things was never expressed on the platform. Um, it was said that I did write this book, but didn't nobody know the details and the things that I felt. So I still felt invalidated, but I still wanted to stay in my healing place, continue with my peace, and try to see where things went. Um, and I guess it was okay. I mean, there wasn't no discrepancies. There wasn't no arguments or nothing like that. There was a lot of times where things were said, and I tried to be respectful. No, I did be respectful, and I would correct those um, things that were said on the platform behind the scenes. And I think that that may have not been the right way. And I only say that because it gives off a narrative to others that everything that was said was correct, and there were some things that wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but those was corrected behind the scenes. Um, also, you may not see me over there now, and I have been struggling on whether I would really speak on why I am not over there on every video, being a moderator and all that, like I was. And I didn't know if I would really speak on it. I didn't know if I would ever even say anything to him about it.
Mm.
But um, I'm just gonna say something and hear my heart when I say this. Um, like really hear me because a lot of people listen to argue and not listen to hear. There is a
Mm-hmm.
difference.
It is.
Um, so I was over there, and those are some of the things that went on. There was a lot of things uh, that was being said, I didn't agree with. And I just feel like everybody has a right to their opinion. Everybody have a right to their feelings. You should never invalidate anything, anyone's feelings, no matter if you feel that way or not.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's feelings is valid. But I feel like if you're going to tell a story, um, the whole story should be told.
Yeah.
Because when you just tell one side of said story, it can look away.
Mm-hmm.
It can come off away. And if I be more specific, um, he likes to talk about the fact of my mother physically abusing him in DV. And though I would say that is correct, there was situations, um, but and this is not to invalidate nobody at all.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, we have to tell both sides to that story. And when you don't tell both sides to a story, what it looks like is that this woman just woke up every day and just said, "This is the day that I'm gonna hit you. This is the day I'm gonna smack you." And those are not. That is not how it went down.
Right.
Um, and not to, and like I said, not to invalidate his feelings or what happened. Um, he chose to deal with his issues by smoking crack and drinking or whatever and going on these drug binges. She chose to deal with her anger in a different way. So to me, both parties was wrong,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so um, it would be more so, oh well, embarrassment. Um, there's a lot of times um, that men do things that they want women to accept that they would never. Um, most men would not accept someone who continuously goes on crack binges and stuff like that, and just keep accepting them and keep taking care of the kids, and keep the household together, and keep this and that. And though I am not validating, please hear me. I am not saying it is okay for anyone to put their hands on anyone. It is not okay.
Mm-hmm.
I do not support anybody doing that. DV is a serious thing, and I don't support that at all. I don't think men should be putting their hands on women, and women should be putting their hands on men. Okay,
Exactly.
but um, the way the story is told, um, to me, uh, makes it look a certain way. And there was two wrongs and no right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so because I didn't agree with that, I kind of um, it was kind of hard to hear, and some oftentimes it's hard to listen to people that you really know in real life, and you know how they are.
Yeah.
Um, but also I feel, and this is my feelings, um, and I'm not going to invalidate my feelings at all. Um, I feel like I was used for YouTube like clicks and views. And the reason why I feel that way is because um, my side of things was never really expressed, right?
Mhm.
Um, when I was on the platform and I did a video, and it was supposed to be a whole takeover, um, a Tiana takeover. Um, it was rushed. I felt rushed off. Um, whereas though if it was other men on there talking about this, that, and the third, um, the lives would go on for 6 hours. I was given 30 minutes. Um, a lot of things that I would say uh, was just, and I don't know if it's because of the atmosphere and the tone of his platform, but and then I was deleted as moderator out of nowhere. I said nothing, did nothing. Um, I traveled from this state to another state to visit. Now, mind you, I wasn't getting like no daily phone calls. How you doing? Or anything like that. I would get phone calls every now and again to talk about YouTube. Um, even down to my birthday, um, I called him. Um, I called him, um, and that's how he said happy birthday. Um, but when I traveled to where he is, and I went and visit, it was I felt like I wasn't supposed to be there. I felt like, um, why are you here? And I say that because when somebody has to tell you to, well, come have a conversation with her or come over here and talk, then that made me feel like, oh, well, what you here for?
Mhm.
And so in that moment, I just said, I can't travel back down that road. I can't disrupt my peace anymore. I can't, I will still be uh, respectful, but I can't do anything that's going to disrupt the peace. I can't do anything. Hey, Daryl. Hey, brother. Um, disrupt my peace that I have come to.
Yeah.
Um, I can't do that. And that's not, anything negative. That's not, anything bad. It's just that I can't let you take me back down that road. I can't let you drag me down a path that I don't want to be down anymore, that I've healed from, that I've come from.
Right.
I can't let hey Latasha, hey sister. Um I can't let you take me down that path anymore. You know what I mean? I can't
Mhm.
put myself in the space of being hurt again.
Right. Right.
Because and I knew this is actually the moment I knew I was healed from it. Because when all of that went on, instead of cursing him out, doing all this, or going off and being ugly, being petty, and this, that, and third, I still went over there and supported. I still went over there and watched the videos. I still went and liked the videos. And I still haven't said anything.
Right.
That I felt he intentionally used me, and I feel like it was for like click and view, and like once you got monetized and everything else is like, oh well, what are you here for, type of thing, and that's just how I feel, and I hope and pray that my feelings is not invalidated or anything like that, but that's just how I feel. And those are the reasons why I feel that way. But I won't let nobody come in and disrupt my peace.
Right.
It took me a long time to totally experience what peace really is.
Man, what?
Okay, it took me a long time to get to a healed place because living in misery and living in hurt, it will have you doing things that you shouldn't even be doing,
I'm trying to tell you.
arguing with people you shouldn't even be arguing with, being ugly. I mean, just all types of things,
Right.
health issues. I
Mm-hmm.
was in and out of the hospital every month on life support. Here, it's no, no, it's no reason for that. You know, to take myself back to that place.
Mm-hmm.
I still will support unless it becomes a point where it's not um, conducive to my life. Um, I still have some uh, decisions to make
Mm-hmm.
um, because I do want children. I will have children. And I do not know if I will allow my children to experience the hurt or the pain that I went through.
Yeah.
And nor will I allow someone to come in and out their life and play like that.
Facts. That's the same thing I said about my dad. Like, it was shocking to me because he called me and he was like, bring the kids by for Christmas. I said, what? Am I being punked? Where the cameras at? I was like, what? And then, like, all types of anxiety started rolling in. Like, do I really want to go over there? Do I not want to go over there? Like, me and this man have not talked in 3 years. I said, this is very weird because I made that stepping stone to take a selfie with him and post it on my Snapchat. Shocking. First selfie ever. When I say ever, ever. Like, I was shocked because at that point I was like, he's never going to say I'm sorry. He's never going to take accountability. I'm just going to have to move on. And the only way for me to do it is just to get over my stubbornness and just, like I always do, break the ice, be the bigger person like I've always have been when it came to minding his relationship or whatever. So I was like, well, I'm gonna take the initiative to do something. So I did, and I even got a little something for Christmas. I was shocked. I was, what? Thank
Right.
you, Daddy.
Like I didn't get
So,
nothing for Christmas, but I did get something. But to me that's monetary. It's like where is all the years of I'm sorry for this or I'm sorry for that? Where
yeah,
is all the years of making up for that lost time? Where is the love, the affection? Where is all of that?
right.
Because money can't buy love.
No, it really can't. It really can't. But it did put gas in my tank, so I'm not complaining. But
Okay. Okay.
but when it came to that part, like at this point, with me being as old as I am and my kids getting older and stuff, if he wants to take that initiative to have a relationship with them, cool. If not, cool too. I'm not that type of person that'll sit here and force anything anymore. I'm not even looking for an apology from this man anymore because, honey, I've been searching. I'm tired. So
So you have
I'm
to meet people where they are.
yeah,
Some people will take accountability, some people won't.
right.
And how I went about it was just because I chose to take the path to get to my heal place doesn't mean that they took the proper steps to get all the way totally healed from a situation,
Mm-hmm.
healed from things. So just because I'm here don't mean that they're there. So I have to just meet them where they are, and
Right.
either I continue to have a relationship or I protect my peace and I stay where I am.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I came to my decision.
Yeah.
Um, Making now. How does your father, um, your biological father, um, feel about? Does he know about what you went through with the molestation and things of this?
When my mom said when I was, done that way the first time, she said that he tried to blame it on her, tried to say it was her that was doing it and all that kind of stuff. And, she was like, well, it don't make sense because you only got Danae, but you didn't get Devore, my baby sister, because we're 15 months apart. She was like, I was the only one at home. My sister was still at the sitter's house. So I don't know. I never told him about my uncle. I never told him about my stepdad at the time. Never told him about anything because at that point I'm like, why should I tell him?
Okay, so he doesn't know.
No. Um, One thing he did, like he tried to, have a relationship with me, I guess. But, because we would go to breakfast sometimes or, but this was like way back when I was like early teenage years.
Okay.
I could have had the chance to tell him then, but I just couldn't. I couldn't even find the words to say, well, hey, Dad, while you've been absent and not giving a crap, this been going on. So I'm like, I'd rather not tell him. Um, I remember one time he did have my back one time. He had just had back surgery. No, was it carpal tunnel surgery? I don't think he's ever had back surgery. I don't know. Anyway, it was some type of surgery, but my ex husband used to beat me or whatever. And my mom called him for some reason. I don't know why. But I actually felt at that time, I felt like, yeah, he loves me because he came to fight for me. He came with a pistol loaded, like ready to hurt somebody. Not kill him, but just hurt, you know. But just scare him a little bit, but stupid me, seeing what my mom had went through with her choice in men, because he was the beater for her. And then her third ex husband was the cheater, and my daughter's dad was the cheater. It's like, when is it gonna end?
Back to
But
the generational, yeah.
yes,
So
so
you want to
I
break that for your children.
right, yes, because I even tell my baby daddies, I told them, I said, listen, in 2022, I said things gonna be different. So if you want to get on this boat, you can come on, pedal along. Let's get it. Because by the end of the day, it's about these kids. It's not about what we went through while we were together. We were young, dumb, and stupid. Like, but bottom line, it is what it is. Be there for your kids. That's all I've ever asked. Never wanted um, child support, never wanted any of that. Be there for your kids. Just be there because I want my kids to have something I never had, even though I didn't grow up in a two-parent household for real, because they were always in and out. So it's like, I want not only for my son, for my daughters as well, because I don't want them thinking, well, mommy and daddy fight all the time. So when I get older, since I see my mama do it, I'm gonna do it. No, I don't want that for them. I want them to be successful in everything that they do, especially when it comes to relationships with anybody. It can be a friend, it can be a cousin, somebody, because trying to set a positive platform for your children is like being overwhelmed at work, because not only are you thinking about, well, what could be the outcome of that, you're overwhelmed with, well, did they see me do this or did they see me do that? Like, you panic every step you take because them little eyes are watching everywhere. And, like, they don't know my son. Like I said, he's 12. He doesn't know why me and my dad don't talk. I don't want him to know. I don't want him to be like, well, I don't like him either because of how he treated you. I want him to find out the type of person that he is. If my dad shows that type of person that he is, he does. If he don't, that's a good thing too, because some people change. It may take them forever, but they change. I'm not, knocking him for that because I love him. Regardless, I love him. Like, yeah, he's done a lot of stuff to hurt me, said a lot of things to hurt me and everything, but I still love him. I can't help but to. And I remember a conversation that we had a while back when I was like, well, I'm not obligated to do this and that because he didn't, he wasn't the father that I wanted him to be or whatever. I had to reevaluate myself when I said that. And I had to sit here and think, like, okay, that may have made sense, but not really made sense. Maybe that wasn't the right thing to say. Okay, it wasn't the right thing to say. I'm going to just put it like that. So I had to
Yeah, I
take
mean,
kind.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. We have to first to get to a healing place. We have to first take accountability for
Right,
ourselves.
right.
And you can't forgive yourself until you're able to take
Mm-hmm.
accountability for what you have done.
Right.
So that's why I always when I tell the story, I say, yeah, I was out here acting up. I was
Mm-hmm.
a horrible teenager. I was out here fighting him like he was one of the kids on the street.
Right.
And though it was wrong, you know, I can admit to my wrongs. I can take accountability and say, right there, I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the reasons behind it. Not to say that it was right, but here's the reasons behind it. Here's what I did. I was wrong. Let's take accountability. And you
Mm-hmm.
can't get to your heal place. You can't begin the healing process without taking accountability.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing I think people have a problem with doing is sitting back and saying, "Look, I was wrong. It was me. I was wrong
Right.
in this area. I was wrong." That's a hard thing for people to do.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing for people to do, and unfortunately, a lot of people have narcissistic traits, and I'm just gonna be real. Um, and those traits can be in men and women,
Right.
but more so in men. And I really want to get somebody who's in the psychology field to talk
Mm-hmm.
more on that because emotionally and mentally, that is draining.
Yeah.
I have been in a situation dealing with a narcissist. And in a lot of ways, I think that my father's um, issue is that he has narcissistic ways. Um, and I think that people, I don't know, this is just my opinion, is that people who are narcissistic don't know that they're narcissistic.
Hmm.
or who have some of the traits of narcissism don't know that they're displaying those behaviors. So they don't know how to come out or heal from said behaviors. That's just what I think. But I want to get somebody who knows more about it to talk about it. But that's just my opinion. Um, but it's just I want to go in to talk about um, now with your mom. I know you said that for a while, because she didn't protect you, because she didn't validate how you were feeling when you was going through, you know, the molestation and the rape, and she didn't validate how you felt emotionally, how you felt physically. But do y'all have a relationship now?
Yeah, I mean it's okay. It's better than what it's been. Now she's getting to the point where she is not as overbearing, not trying to be in my business a lot, not trying to tell me what to do when it comes to my kids. She's now getting to that point where she's finally letting me be an adult. Um, our relationship, as far as communicating and stuff, like sometimes I talk to her, sometimes I don't. I mean, I don't talk to her every day. I don't see her every day. Due to the simple fact she don't want me coming around her because I've been working the COVID unit at work for the past week. So, but other
That's
than
understandable.
that, um, I mean, it's okay. I'm not gonna say it's the best, but it's okay.
Okay. Um, Now let's talk to people who have either been in your situation, um, whether it be current, whether it be past. Um, let's just talk to those people now. Um, do you think, or you could tell me, um, do you think that being that you went through those situations as a woman, um, you kind of it made you feel um, that you didn't really care about yourself. So because I know it's I know other people who's went through it. I know for myself in the situations that I have been through, um, it makes you not really care about your body. It makes you feel less of a woman, and so you just with this one and that one. Did you go through that?
I did. Um, it all started when, well, I've always been in relationships. Like I was in a relationship when I lost my virginity. Um, we stayed together for, whew, I want to say about 2.5 years because I met him. I met my first love when I was 14, but we didn't get physical until like a year and a half later. And after that, like, it was funny because God rest his soul, he died too. He died in 2014. But afterwards, I was like, I don't want to do it anymore. It felt weird because I felt dirty. But then again, I was like, okay, it felt good, but I don't want to do it again. But I'm gonna just try it one more time. And that was my way of coping. That was my way of, you know, dealing with what was going on at home was that physical. Any guy I was talking to at the time was like, anybody look my way, anybody say, "Oh, you're gorgeous." Oh, I was like, "Oh, just take me," you
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
you know.
And
I
you
was
go through that because
right.
you're looking for love, and that love and affection that you're not getting at home,
Mhm.
you're looking for it elsewhere, and
Yeah.
so you turn to those things.
Mhm. And when I was in some relationships, good relationships, to where they stood by me through all the troubles I was going through at home, I messed it up because I was always, stepping out, trying to find something else other what I already had. And, it sucked when I lost that person because he was a really good dude. Like, he was really good to me. And I didn't know how to appreciate it because I didn't know what genuine love was from a man, you know? And at that time, I was, what, 20 when it happened? And I was like thinking back, I was like, crap, why did I do that? Like, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have hurt him because I'm hurting. But at the same time, I didn't know how to even express it. Like, I didn't think at the time it was a problem that I had a problem, but it really was the problem, and I was like, well, I messed that one up. And then a year later, I ended up moving back down to Gadsden, and I ended up getting pregnant, and I ended up getting married, and that didn't end well. And then I ended up, while still being legally married but separated, I ended up with another guy. And, it was like one after another. And that wasn't healthy for me. But at the same time, I seen it happen in my childhood. So I thought it was okay. And it's not okay.
Mhm.
Especially now that my kids are older, I don't expose them to a lot of people. Especially it took a few months. I want to say about 3 or 4 months before my boyfriend actually met my kids after meeting him, because it was like I didn't want to jump the gun. I didn't want them to see another person or whatever. So I kept that from them or whatever. So, I just didn't want that to reoccur. So I'm like, okay, I'm stopping right here. This is it. This is it. And when I tell you I put that man through some heck, I put him through some heck because, it was like I wasn't used to genuine love. I wasn't used to it. Like I said, I never knew what the in and outs of a man was. Even with my ex boyfriends, we never had that conversation. Like, what's a man thinking? What a man can go through, on an everyday basis until I got with him. And like he gives me insights of what men think about, what the outcome may be of a situation with a man, you know, because, us women, we have to consider them as well.
Definitely,
Be-
definitely.
because, even though we carry the hurt and stuff like that, without us even knowing, we can put that on them.
So true. That is so
So
true.
it's like, when I say it's a journey, it's a
How
journey.
she stole my thunder. How you doing? Everyone, that's who does my intro. How she stole my thunder.
But yeah.
Okay, so um what would you say um to the young girls out there who have been in your position and You don't want them to take the same path, the same road. Um, what can they do early on to not wait to like you and I in our 30s to go through a healing process?
I would say channel all your energy towards something. It can be anything. Because even growing up, even to this day, music was mine. Like
Hmm.
any type of music. I stayed with headphones in my ears. And it was like, an escape path for me. Like channel your energy. Find something you like doing. It could be hair, it could be makeup, it could be anything. It could be concocting something in the kitchen, baking, cooking, something. Just channel that energy towards something else because you don't want to bottle that stuff inside to where when you blow up at the wrong person or you blow up at the wrong time and it'll be too late to take any of that back because when you carry that hurt on you and you keep it confined in one area, you're like an exploding volcano, and that's not good. So please, just anybody out there listening, just channel that energy towards something else. I've taken up boxing one time. Boxing, that is a great stress reliever, like seriously. Hard work, but a great stress reliever. You'll be sore afterwards, but it's worth it. Um, it only took one time, but I'm gonna do it again eventually. But channel your energy. Dance if you have to. I love dancing. Just dance. Dance while you're cooking, dance while you're cleaning. Just channel that energy towards something, an object, something. Or meditate, pray, do something because you don't want to be a prisoner of your own past. You don't want to be confined in that one area for the rest of your life because not only it hurts you physically, but it also hurts you health wise. Like depression is real. If you feel like you're depressed, if you even wake up one day and you like, I don't want to go to work, and you just lay in the bed all day and not do nothing, that's depression. If you're just feeling blue all of a sudden, that's depression. I don't want anybody to go through what I went through to the point where now it's like, a struggle on an everyday basis. So just get help any way you can. There's a lot of resources out there. I'm pretty sure anywhere has some place where you can go and talk to someone for free. I'm pretty sure a lot of communities have free clinics out there. Something. It's a lot of resources out there. It really is. I just don't want nobody to even hurt themselves or hurt others from the pain that they went through. Because once you hurt other people, some things you say you can't take it back. Because it's always life and death and the power of the tongue. So everybody just go out there. Just it's a lot of resources. It's a lot of things out there. The world is big. It's a lot of things. Even if you don't feel as creative, just figure out something. Just try something and figure it out. That's something you take your mind off of what you're going through. Staying active, basically. Just stay active because it'll help you channel that energy towards something. I just don't want nobody to I just want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to be successful. I want everybody to live their best life because you only get one. So live it the best way you can. Just be there. But yep,
Okay. That was good. Good information and good advice. And I hope that whoever um this video was for, I really hope that you see that there is people who go through um the same issues, um who's taken the road less traveled, but made it, and that
Mhm.
overcame those issues. And it is something that you can overcome. You can get to your healed place. You don't have to be in the statistic of hurt people, hurt people. You don't have to be out
Right.
here hurting people um, because you're hurt or
Mhm.
because someone hurt you, someone did something to invalidate you. Know that your feelings are valid.
Yeah.
Never let anyone invalidate your feelings. Never.
Mhm.
The best thing I know, society and our community, they like to tell us that counseling is taboo. It is not something we're supposed to be doing. They like to say, whatever goes on in this house, keep it in this house, right? Get out of that mindset.
Please do.
Counseling is the best thing that I ever done for myself.
I'm trying to tell you.
It's the best thing you could ever do. You have somebody who is not biased towards your situation. They don't know you. They don't know your mama. They don't know your dad. They don't know none of that. Get you one that you can get you one that looks like you, that's been through the
Mhm.
same things that you
Exactly.
knows the community that you're in, and get to talking.
Mhm.
Because or if you are religious, you can go to a member of your church or whatever religion you are. Just get you somebody
Mhm.
that you can really trust. And I know that we are in 2022 and it is hard to have somebody you can trust, right?
Mhm.
Because
Very
I
much.
think that a lot of people, um, a lot of people, uh, what's the word? A lot of people go through life just existing. I've been there. And you don't want to just exist. You want to live.
Mhm.
You want to live your life. You don't want to just go through life and then one day you look up and it's 10 years down the road and you say, well, what happened to the last 10 years of my life?
Yeah. They're gone.
And it's gone and you can't go back there. You
Yep.
can't make up that time. So this goes into my next book, the newest book that came out this year, where I co-authored in Talitha Coon, Get Up Little Girl. In that book, um, we all wrote a letter to our younger self. Um, in there, I spoke about how and the steps that one should take to get to a healed place, even at a young age, even as a teenager. Even as a young age, how to take the proper steps. Never let anyone invalidate you. Never let nobody emotionally abuse you. Um, there is things and steps and and ways that you could take to get out of that. You don't have to go through what we went through. We went through it so
Mhm.
you don't have to go through it. And there's going to be times where you go through things that you don't want to go through,
Yep.
but just go through it, get through it, and know that it's only temporary.
Mhm.
Sometimes you're gonna have to go through stuff. When you're not going through nothing, then your blessing is far away. But when you're going through, you know that your blessing is near because God would never leave you nor forsake you. Okay. Even when I said no to him, he said yes to me.
Mhm.
Okay. So even when I was out here doing all kinds of stuff, he still said yes.
Mhm.
When I said forget him, he still said yes. He still watched over my life. Even when I almost died 4 times, he still didn't. He still was there.
Mhm.
Even when I tried to take my own life after that, he still was there. He will never leave you nor forsake you. And I need y'all to understand that. And I need y'all to go out and get the book, Talitha Kum, Get Up, Little Girl. Even if you get it for somebody, get it for a young girl, get it for uh the youth at your church. There is so many people um who needs to hear these stories. They need to know it is not just me. I'm not the because there was so many times that I went through things thinking I'm the only one.
Mhm.
Nobody else could be out here experiencing this. Nobody else could be experiencing this hurt, this pain, because I kept things to myself. It just kept existing in the world. So we have to just know that God is able, right? And I'm not forcing my religion on nobody. That's just who I am, and that's just how I speak. And you're able to be of what religion you desire, but I'm just speaking from my experience. God has never left me. I may have left him several times, but he has never left me. And for that, I'm forever grateful. And I will always talk about him because of what he's done for me. So that's why I'm so passionate about speaking about what God has never left me. He has never left my side. He's always been there. I'm the one that made a detour, but he never detoured.
Mm-mm.
And sometimes you're gonna go through things. He's gonna allow things to happen. He's gonna allow things to happen. But it's what you do while that's going on that counts. You have to still give him honor, still give him praise, and still give him glory, even when you're going through. And just know, I went from in 2017 being hurt, being depressed, attempting suicide, being angry, out here arguing on the internet with people I had no business arguing with, doing all kinds of things. Um, Smoking marijuana. I mean, drinking every day. Had a bottle every day. Every day. That's what 2017 was. A whole blur. A whole blur. And it shouldn't have been, but it was. And it took a long time. It took waking up in the hospital and saying, this can't be my life. This can't be my life. It's got to get better. I want it to get better. What do I need to do for it to get better for me? I went from that into walking into what God destined me to be, to building a relationship with Him. Because we can all go to church, but do you have a relationship with Him? Your own personal relationship. Not, oh, I'm going to call Sister Suzanne down the street and get her to pray. Now, there's nothing wrong with getting somebody else to pray with and for you, but you got to get on your knees for yourself. You got to
Mhm.
read the word for yourself. You got to know these things and build your own relationship for yourself, because can't nobody get you into heaven but you. So you have to be, you have to form that bond and that relationship with God on your own. And once I decided to fully submit myself to Him, Oh, things change. In 2018, I started a business that is doing fairly well and still going to this day. Um, there's a lot that I have grown into and that God has gave me and that I have accomplished. I have started a nonprofit organization and there's many things to come. I came back to YouTube, although people have been asking me for years, please come back, please come back, please come back. I couldn't come back in a hurt place. I had to come back in a healed place. I couldn't let, and the reason why I left those videos up is so you can see me then to see where I am now. There's a total difference in the person I was then to who I am now. And that's why when I came back, I said to everybody who used to watch my platform before, I apologize. I apologize for who I was then. But now I'm in a healed place. So get to know the heal me. Okay? Now, I also want to take a moment because one of my co-authors from this book has passed away. Um, and I just want to give it a moment of silence. Um, give her a moment of silence. I just found out today, and it's really hurtful. Um, but God makes no mistakes. So we just want to give her a moment of silence, and we'll continue with the live. Okay, Aria,
Hmm.
do you have any words? I know you read this book, and you've told me you read it twice. What did the book do for you?
It gave me a lot of insight. It made me feel like I wasn't alone. Like I had a whole group of women that was just like me, but in different situations, different scenarios. Um, it gave me an insight about, what my next step can be. What can I do to leave that mantle alone? Leave it where it's at, burn it, whatever. Because it's like, all my life I've been carrying that mantle and I didn't want it. I didn't ask for it. So reading that book helped me get insight on what to overcome and how to overcome it and what it feels like to overcome it. So it's like, anybody out there who hasn't read that book, need to read that book, especially if you're going through what all those women that was speaking in the book was going through. Like I said, different scenarios, same thing. It'll help you because God put people on this earth to help one another, and that book helped me, and it's still helping me because I'm still, you know, learning how to overcome my obstacles and learning how to overcome my trials and everything. So, yep, I love it. I love the book. I can't wait to get the other one. I gotta get myself together first because I've been out with a hurt foot. So I gotta get my life back together. As soon as I get it back together, I'm getting that book.
Okay. And we do have a book signing coming up this Saturday for Talitha Coom, Get Up Little Girl, as well as, why you just leave my head? Latasha, what's the other book title? Um, we do have a book signing. Um, and I'm so excited. We didn't get to have our book signing for the other two books that I was in, because we was early on in the pandemic when this book came out. So oh, I didn't get to have a book signing with that. So I'm so excited for what's to come. If you're in the North Carolina area, uh, my co-author Latasha, build it a game. Build it a game. So you're gonna build it again for a game. That's what that book is about. Um, and both books can be found on Amazon. Um, or if you're coming and you want to purchase from my co-authors, by all means do that. Or you can purchase it on there, to have your book signed by all of the authors. The link is in the chat. My co-author put the link in the chat for you all, to RSVP for this event. We will be uh, doing COVID restrictions and being safe throughout this whole event. But it's going to be a wonderful event, and I hope to see you all if you are in the North Carolina area. Um, and yeah, she dropped the link. Let me go up. Well, I wasn't looking at the comments, so I'm sorry. Here is the link to RSVP. Thank you, Latasha. Um, to RSVP. Please come out and support us. Um, and get the book. Please get the book. I'm telling you, both books are, well, all the books you can learn a lesson from. But if you're a young girl, and even not just a young girl, if you're going through something, um, if you're going through something and you just feel alone and you feel like you just need some type of inspiration, get the books, because people pour out their hearts, and empty themselves in the book. And so I want you to go out there, get it. Um, I only have a few on hand, but you ain't got to purchase from me. Purchase from my co-authors. You can purchase it on from Amazon or from Fiery Beacon Publishing House. You can purchase from them. I just have a few left, so just get the book. Support um, just wonderful authors, taking the time to pour into you. Um, Now we have heard from Aria. For those just coming in, she have explained her story about things that she went through personally. She's experienced rape, um, molestation, and she just told us how she's overcome those things and how she's currently in counseling, dealing with those issues, and how she's moving forward in her life. And so, if you all have any questions, or if you want to know anything or have any questions, feel free. I can drop the link if anybody wants to come up and chat and join the panel. I can do that as well. So just let us know. Um, Aria, do you have anything else you'd like to share or anything else while I'm
Um,
waiting to see?
um, Thank you for everyone who was listening, and thank you, Tiana, for having me on your panel. And I can't wait to be on the next one.
Yeah, speaking of the next live, let's speak about the next live really quickly. The next live will be next Tuesday at 6. The link is out there. I think it's 6 p.m. Um, we'll be going live next Tuesday with Tiffany, and we will be discussing um a similar a similar topic. We will be discussing a similar topic, and I'll tell you what that is. It's going to lead from this into into. Have you ever been broken? That is the topic next week. Yes, 6 o'clock for Tuesday, February 1st, at 6 p.m. We will have that. We will have that uh, live, and we'll be talking about have you ever been broken. So please come in um, Tuesday night and bring your popcorn, your drinks, and just I want to be able for you all to call in to converse with the people that I bring on, and just open up a broad different difference of opinions, difference of um people, different dynamics of different issues, and how we can overcome or get through those things. And so when we have Tiffany on, that's what we will be discussing. Have you ever been broken? Friendship, family, church, it all. Speaking of that, how did how did you feel? Did I meant to ask you that? Being that the person that did do that to you was a pastor, did that make you feel a way about church?
In a way, in a way. And at one point, I was actually like not even wanting to go to church anymore, not even wanting to be active in the church. None of that. Like when I tell you, it was like,
And rightfully so. Rightfully so, because I probably would have done the same thing. I would have probably been like, oh, is this what church do? Because I don't want no parts.
right, right, right. And like it was to the point where I stopped going to his church. I, because to be honest, like, whenever you go to a church and the pastor is up there and you actually learn something, I didn't learn anything. He was just so monotone and boring. I was like, this cannot be it. So it was like,
Yeah.
I stopped going. I remember one time my old home church came to visit his church. They was having a pastor's anniversary. And need I mind you, Hicktown, um, little bitty. It was like whenever it was the seven of us, we took up majority of the church. His three kids, me and my sister, my mom, him, and like maybe two members that was still there, the secretary and the treasurer. And yeah, and they was wanting me to come up and sing in front of them or whatever. And I'm sitting here like, nope, I'm not singing. I'm not singing. We don't even have a choir. We don't even have a musician. We don't have nothing.
Yeah.
So he kind of felt offended because I started singing with my old choir. And I had like the most fun. Like I felt like I was at home. I felt like that's where I needed to be. And after that, shoot, I was driving. I'm not driving all the way to Asheville. I'm finna drive right up the
Oh,
street and
y'all have an
around the
Asheville
corner.
too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I said, I'm not finna drive all the way up there. I'm finna drive up the street and around the corner where I belong and where I've been. So it caused a lot of friction with everybody because with me being the oldest, everybody was like, "Well, why she get to do it and I can't?" Basically, and at that time, I wasn't thinking about nothing else. I was thinking about myself and how I can get away from him for a good couple of hours before he comes back home. So,
That was your safe haven.
yeah, it really was. Like, even when I spent the whole summer with my best friend and her parents, when I tell you I acted like I didn't have a family, I acted like I came from her mama. Like, like my family didn't exist. And at that point, I didn't even feel bad about it. I still don't feel bad about it. And that might be wrong to say, but I don't feel bad about it because at that time I felt free. I felt like I was safer. But at the same time, in the back of my mind, I'm like, what is my sister going through? But, my sister stayed to herself. And at that point, he was barely at home because he was doing God knows what. So it was like, it is what it is on that part. But each time when I spent the night at my best friend's house, that was the only person my mom would actually allow me to go. But she hated our relationship. Like
I
the
can relate.
like her my best friend's mom is my mom's best friend. They went to school with each other. They grew up together and everything. And she despised our relationship because I can go to her and tell her practically anything. And I wouldn't feel judged. I wouldn't feel ashamed. I wouldn't feel like, I felt normal. I was like, this is what I want for my family. And ever since then, I've been striving to have that perfect family. Um, I pray to God that, I do get my white picket fence. So once I get that, I'll be complete. I mean, I just want what I never had growing up, and that was a real legit white picket fence family. Like that's always something I've always wanted. So,
And you can get there. And you can get there.
oh yeah,
I
most
do want to
definitely.
have you back because there's a topic. There's a couple of topics. I want to do church hurt versus people hurt, as well as um there is men out here in a community. They call themselves the manosphere, and they believe women from what I'm getting. Um, Women such as you and I don't deserve quote unquote high dollar men. Um, say a man who uh makes $1 million. Um, and I want to speak to that because I think that a lot of men expect things from women that they won't accept. Um, they want you to accept their ways of cheating and this, that, and the third. But if a woman go out here and cheat on a man, he's gone. Toodaloo. Okay. So, I wanna do cover a couple of those topics as well. So I do wanna have you back and we'll discuss that behind the scenes.
Okay.
If there hasn't been any questions. Everyone has loved uh the interview, the video, what we spoke about. So if there's no last remarks, then oh yeah, I don't know how to let me see. I haven't figured out everything with uh StreamYard as of yet, but I will put it Um, I will put it in the comment section. I'll put it in the comment section in the description. No, I'll put it in the comment section. Right. I will be doing a giveaway. Um, when we have Tiffany on the 1st of February, I will be doing a giveaway for Valentine's Day. Also, we are doing Valentine's Day baskets. You are able to see that on our Instagram as well as our TikTok. Everything is under Unique Royalty here. If you want to place an order, please email us at uniqueroyaltyherellc@gmail.com. You are able to personalize your order. We have soaps, we have bath bombs, we have um, scrubs, body butters, the single butters, aromatherapy. We have massage oils, lip glosses, lip scrubs. So all of that stuff can be combined. If you want something extra, that can be put in there as well. Um, this is what the bath bomb, one of them, look like. So this is aromatherapy. It smells like lavender and peppermint. There's a lot of benefits in lavender and peppermint. And when I
Yes, it
make
is.
these things, when I make the lavender, it puts me to sleep. Making it, okay? Um, so it's really good. It's really relaxing and really calming. Um, Massage oils has roses in it, rose petals. So that's what that looks like. We also have the heart-shaped bath bombs. They're lavender and peppermint as well. We can change the scent. Um, that's why you would email us if you don't like lavender and peppermint. We also have our soap as well. It includes candies. We got scrubs, socks, um, loofahs, all types of things that we could put in there and make it, his and hers. Y'all can have a wonderful night together, produce some pandemic babies, and have fun. Um,
Nada.
um,
Nada.
so yeah, I think that's all I needed to share. As far as getting the business out of the way. Also, if there's anybody out there who just needs to talk, we have those people available. The website for um, the nonprofit, you are able to email us at restorative transformation 3 at gmail.com. And I'm going to put that in the comments. I think I'm going to put it in the comments. Yeah, I'll go back and put it in the comments. The email address to contact us and how we can get somebody to talk with you, walk with you, pray with you, and stay with you. Okay? And I'm put it in the comments. Information 3 at Gmail. So that is the email address to contact us. Um, we do have a website, and it is restorative transformation.com. All this information will be left in the description box for you to contact us in any way that we can help you, anything that you need. Please feel free to reach out. If we don't have the resources readily available, we will contact someone in your area or get those resources for you. So please do not feel like you have to go through it alone. We are here, and that's what the nonprofit is for. We're going to restore to transform. Um, so, with that being said, um, I hope you all have a good night. And till next time, till next week, be here next week, February 1st at 6 o'clock. We will be doing a giveaway. You have to be here to be considered in the running and also be here to win. So, I got something on my sleeve. So, be here. Um, to join in the conversation and also to win something from Unique Royalty Hair and Body. And with that being said, we're going to close out the stream. And you all have a good night.
Good night,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.